I began this series maybe 3.5 years ago. It's an extension of earlier work that I was creating, a series that I called Ambiguous Reflections, A Question of Color. And in this particular body of work, all the paintings and sculptures were based on poems, different poems that I had written, things that were currently in my mind, I was contemplating. Most of the works are social commentary that is from the perspective of an African American, me being African American. The works consist of 25 paintings, 5 sculptures, and about 15 poems. And the title Paradigm Shift comes from this idea that as a collective, African Americans are often viewed from a historical standpoint of slavery going forward, especially the history that is taught in the school system. And this series is an attempt to recognize that, but also to move beyond that and to shift the paradigm and our vision of ourselves from one of victim to that of victor, from one of dependent to that of independent. And the idea that those chains, whether they be physical, mental, or spiritual, are within our power to break and drop. These ideas are explored in many different forms in my work. As I mentioned, there are 5 sculptures, so it's a 3-dimensional form. There are 25 paintings that range in size from 11 by 14 inches up to 9 feet by 14 feet. And scale is dependent upon the amount of information and the seriousness of the piece. I guess I've always been an artist, although I never imagined that this is what I would be doing for vocation. It was something that was buried inside of me, and I guess it was my fate for that to come out. And I'm glad that it did, because it helped me to create a way of expression and conversation and dialogue that I don't think exists in any other form. I usually begin each piece with an idea in mind, an inner vision, I would say. And from there I work on the composition, be it a painting, I work out the colors, a sculpture. I begin working on the armature and thinking about how I can bring this piece into life. I'll begin an oil painting first and foremost by stretching the canvas, deciding which colors I'm going to use, mixing the colors, working out the composition, and then the piece will develop. This particular painting that I'm working on is titled Escape, and it's using a historical narrative of a slave escaping from a slave ship as a metaphor, the desire of modern day African Americans and people of color to escape the lingering effects of chattel slavery, which are racial oppression and inequality. So I thought it important to create a piece that would spark a conversation visually about these ideas, because we still grapple with them as a society. In the particular painting, you'll see on the right side, you'll see Africa, and on the left side, you'll see a modern day city skyline. And the poem to this piece speaks about the atrocities of the past. However, the last stanza says, But today I will remember me, today I will escape. And it's the idea of escaping that past and escaping that history and recreating ourselves from within. This piece, The Power of Love, speaks to how the power of love and family is what it takes to break chains. And that family goes beyond race or ethnicity. That family is about the human family. And that family coming together is what it's going to take to break those chains. For example, when we think of the Underground Railroad and we think of the iconic Harriet Tubman and her heroic efforts to help enslaved Africans escape, but we often forget that those Africans were hidden in people's barns and under porches by white people who felt just as impassioned about slavery and felt that it was wrong, and they risked their lives and their families to help and aid Harriet Tubman in helping Africans to freedom. So we have to realize that Black history is all of our history. We were not isolated in time, and we aren't isolated in time today. We are all one family. My hope is that these works will inspire us to shift our vision and our paradigm about the reality of who we are as a people, our importance, and how we fit into the human family.